Okay, so today we're going to be learning about the volume of a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism is a three-dimensional 3D figure with two parallel bases that are congruent rectangles. So this rectangle matches this rectangle, and the only difference is the height. And this is a couple of rectangular prisms. This one is we would say it's 3 by 3 by 2. The length is 3, the width is 3, and the height is 2. And this one is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3, 1, 2, 3 by 2, 1, 2. But you can flip them to where they have different dimensions, but their volume does not change. So let's talk about what volume is. It's the amount of space inside a three-dimensional figure. It is the number of cubes that would go in this between these rectangular bases. And it's measured in cubic units because this is a unit, and this is a unit. So that's cubic, 3. And this tells you the number of cubes of a given size it will take to fill the prism. So you see all the cubes filling up the square. So you can do different things to count up the cubes. You can just count how many cubes it is, and that's the volume, or count how many cubes, and that's the volume. Or you can find out how many cubes in one layer, and then add that multiple times, or multiply. Or you can use the formula. Volume equals length times width times height. And the volume of a rectangular prism is the product of the length times the width and then the height. And you multiply these together. So again, you've got the length, the width, and the height, and by multiplying those together, it will give you the volume. And now you can stop and watch another video on how to find volume, and it will show you the layers and the cubes and the filling up the space, and it'll help you understand where the formula comes from. Okay, now that you've watched the other video, you have a better understanding of where the formula comes from. So let's practice using the formula. So if you have a question, it asks you to find the volume, and you'll see a picture, or it will give you the dimensions. Then you would write the formula, volume equals length times width times height. And volume equals length is 5, width is 3, and height is 4. And it's just nice to keep that consistent, but does it really matter? As long as you're multiplying the 3 numbers together, it doesn't matter what order they go into because they multiply the same. So you would multiply it out. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 4 is 60. And then you want to write your units, inches cubed. The little 3 is said cubed. And now try B and see if you can find the volume of this cube and come back and check your work, and then you'll continue learning more. Like 10, because they can pause. Okay, so the length is 5, the width is 5, and the height is 5. So you don't do 5 times 3. There's more than 15 cubes that would fit in here because there would be 5 across here and 5 over here. So it's 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. Make sure you put your units, and instead of squared 2, it's 3 dimensions. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to see these in word problems. This says individual slices of pizza are sold in 2-inch tall rectangular boxes. The box base is 6 inches wide and the length is 5 inches. So if I were to draw this would be 5, and this would be 6, and the height is 2. Okay? So it says how how many cubic slices of pizza would fit in each box? So my formula for volume is length times width times height. My volume equals, my length is 5, my width is 6, my height is 2. So my volume is 5 times 6 is 30, times 2 is 60, and it's in inches cubed. And that's the way you would solve a word problem. Now this one gives you some information and is missing some information. So let's draw it. A box can hold 180 cubic inches of cereal. If the box is 6 inches long, so this is 6, and 10 inches tall, this is 10, how wide is it? So I'm finding this out. And so I start with my formula, volume equals length times width times height, and I put in what I know, 180 equals, I know the length, 6, I don't know the width, but I know the height, times 10 times W. So show what I know. I've got 180 equals 60 times W. So that's just saying what times 60 is 180. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18, and then the 0 would come across. So my width equals 3, and that's inches. And it's not cubed because it's just this dimension. So if I've got multiple choice down here, and I've got A is 5, and B is 3, and C is 6, and D is 10, then what I can do is I can say, okay, 6 times 10, and use my answer choices to come up with 180. So 6 times 10 times 5 would be 300. So that doesn't work. 3 times 10 times 6 is 180, so that works. So I would check that. And you can check each of them to find out if they're equal to 180. That's the beautiful thing about multiple choice. So here's your homework check. I'm going to let the slide go. I'm going to let the video go for a couple of about 30 seconds for you to get this slide. There's 2 questions. Since there's pictures, these take up a lot of space. So I have a third question on the next slide. So sure, and work these 2. Pause the video, work these 2, and then come back for the third question.
What's the other one?
This is the last question for the homework check. Fawn builds a sandbox that holds 60 cubic feet. If the box is 6 feet long and 2 feet tall, how wide is it?